Hi there, I'm Tish.
I'm Lily.
And together we are
Haunted Housewives.
And we will not reproduce for you the Domingo skit from SNL.
That we've been...
Which is exactly...
Ronaldo.
Woof. Ronaldo. Pedro Pascal. If you're out there... Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're good with this. So, enough of that. We're here to talk to you about what to do during the off season.
Yes. Sadness.
Yeah. Because if you're like us, you spend 10 months of the year living for 2 months of the year.
Yes.
Waiting for haunted attractions to open. And as you know, the rest of the time we go to movies, we watch TV, we talk about it. But there are other alternatives for you. If you are looking for something to do that will scratch that haunted house itch,
yes,
we have some recommendations.
A
little spooky, interactive, because as you know, we love interactive stuff.
Yes.
We focus on that. What we are going to talk about tonight is...
da, da, da.
Escape rooms! If you have been anywhere on this planet in the last 10 years or so, you have seen advertisements for escape rooms. You may have been to some escape rooms. And the idea behind an escape room is, it's pretty simple. The notion is that you go to this site, you solve puzzles with a group of people. It's very much a group activity. And often the settings are quirky, mysterious, spooky, and they will give you a sense of Halloween, horror adjacent stuff.
Yes.
During the rest of the year.
Yeah, and there's something even if it's not a spooky theme, because there are some that have spooky horror themes. Even if it's not, just being locked in a room that you have 60 minutes to get out of, and we do have groups. I mean, there's been some that we've done just us. I don't know that I'd I don't know that I'd recommend that to everyone. We have a lot of fun, but they are a little bit more difficult the less people you have, because there are different challenges, and some people are good at some things and other things. We go about them very differently. We'll probably talk about that a little bit later. But there's something spooky about just being locked in a room for 60 minutes and figure your way out. And you're just sitting there oh my gosh.
These are, as Lily was saying, these are timed experiences. You are stuck in a room. Typically, you get a certain number of clues. There's a way to communicate with the people who run the escape room. There's a walkie-talkie, or there's some sort of intercom system that you can speak into and say, hey, help. We're really having a hard time. We're stuck. Yeah. And someone will guide you. Most places, not all, but most places have 3, 4, 5 clues that you can ask for.
Yeah. And some are more lenient on that, and some are less lenient on that. Depending on where you are.
I mean, our experience has frequently been that we are such idiots that people take pity on us.
They're look at them. They're just standing there staring at that. And that has nothing to do with anything.
You're right. Can I move this?
And they're staring at that light, but that light is just a light.
Right. So the idea behind an escape room is that you solve a series of puzzles. Some escape rooms are a single room. Some of them are a series of rooms.
Multiple, yes.
And you can go back and forth between the different rooms in the experience. But you have to get to all of the rooms in order to solve the puzzle.
Right. Yes.
And can we talk a little bit about the kinds of puzzles that you're likely to encounter in an escape room?
So there are, depending on the escape room, some of them specialize in certain types of puzzles. Generally, they all have somewhat similar, where maybe you have to read something and you have to figure out the clues, like the words that look different in that equate to colors or numbers, and those colors and numbers might equate to you finding a code that goes to a lock. There's a lot of locks. Almost all of them. I want to say maybe one didn't really have as many. Most of them have some sort of lock system.
Multiple kinds of locks.
Yes. And there are keys that you need to find. There are code words. Some of the locks have words. Some of them have the numbers. And then there are places that specialize in locks where you have to take a class on the different kinds of locks and how to use them before you go into the haunt, because there's a lot of locks. But some of them have less. Some of them are more story-based. It's... The thing is, I go in running around touching everything, because the very first haunt we went into had a lot of, like, trick things. Like, you set a piece of paper down on a desk and something popped open in another part of the room. Like, that was our first experience, and it was amazing.
Let's give them a representation of how the two of us act in a typical escape room. All right, 1, 2, 3, go.
I have to touch all the things. What is this? Look at the numbers on here.
I'm thinking my way through all the things.
She's like,
I'm thinking about it.
If there's a piece of paper with words on it, I'll hand it to her. Yeah. Sometimes there's flashlights, and you have to go around the room, and there might be something that glows somewhere. But flip everything over.
So
I'll flip everything over.
You'll have locks. You'll have logic puzzles.
Yeah.
You'll have word puzzles. And in a couple of places, you will have what I would think of as physical courage challenges.
Oh, yes. We
can talk about
sticking your hands and arms in things that
we can talk about one really specific example later on. But you might have to stick your hand in something. And the idea is typically that you're not just going to have one kind of puzzle, because you're there with a group, you're there with people, and somebody in your group is likely to be good at one of those things.
Well, yeah, one thing or another. Like, you have a map that may or may not have anything to do with getting the next clue. And you're like, oh, you're good at maps. Stare at that map. Yeah. Like, there's a book here.
Figure this out. But the idea is there are different kinds of puzzles, and you're supposed to work together with the people in your group to resolve those puzzles. And you're interacting with the environment. You're supposed to touch things. If there's something you're not supposed to touch, they'll tell you.
Yeah.
They'll label it. They'll let you know.
Usually there's some sort of label or something. And if there's not, they will come over the intercom or walkie-talkie and say, nope.
Don't pull out the light fixture.
Yes.
Do not pull out the light fixture.
Those wires are real.
You're going to get a surprise, but not the one you want. So they're very interactive, where you're interacting with people in your group, you're interacting with your environment, and you're supposed to kind of mess things up. We could talk a little bit about strategy, though. I mean, I'm going to be brutally honest here. We suck.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if the idea behind escape rooms was
fun.
Like, all these people were going to, like, sit together and, like, discuss, like, what they were going to... I don't know. But that has not been our experience yet.
I mean, we've been to...
Usually it's whoever's good at that thing figures it out.
Yeah. Her son, like, Eddie, is very good at certain kinds of puzzles. Wednesday had a friend who was very good at other kinds of puzzles. Wednesday and Marilyn will mostly sit around.
Marilyn's good at, like, did y'all look at that over there? And we'll be like, oh my God. Yeah, she's done that a couple times. Yeah. Like, how about that thing? Yeah. And we're like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we could look at that.
It's like she watches us run around, and then she'll be like, did you look over there?
But, I mean, if you are planning to go to an escape room, think about group composition.
Yes.
Think about, who might be good at some of this stuff. And bring them along with you. But you know what? I say this as somebody who has one, maybe two of the many escape rooms we've been through, they're fun anyway. It's not the destination, it's the journey.
It is. It's a fun thing to do. It's a fun night out. It's something different if you haven't. If you have been to an escape room, they're all different. I have not been to two that were the same yet. Mm-hmm. So even if you've already been to one, do another one. Even some of the same people own the same ones, and they're different depending on which one you go to. But you can go. There's plenty of different people who run them.
There's lots of options. We live in the Pittsburgh area, and there are. If you Google escape rooms near me in Pittsburgh, a list will pop up, and it's constantly changing. It's constantly evolving. There are many different experiences that you can have. Mm-hmm. We, of course, tend to go for the sort of horror-flavored experiences.
Oh, it's scary?
Yes, we're there. But it doesn't have to be scary necessarily. It can be, it can be science-themed. It can be music-themed. Yeah. There's something out there for everyone, really seriously. But if you are like us and you're looking for that little jolt of Halloween feeling in the long freaking months between November and September,
oh my God,
escape rooms will really help.
Yes.
Should we talk about some of the specific experiences that we've had?
I think we should.
All right.
I think we should.
All right.
So we've been to about 8 different ones, give or take. Mm-hmm. And our first experience at a haunted house was Escape Crawford. And they are associated with the Crawford School of Terror in Connellsville, Pennsylvania.
Which should let you know what this escape room is going to feel like.
Right. Now, they're currently under renovation, not the haunt, but the escape room. I do believe they're planning on reopening, but I think they're changing things. So if we give a little bit too much away, that's okay.
Because they're going to do something different.
Yeah, it's going to be all different. But it was... having that be our first one, first of all, we were so confused, and I'm so happy that we brought Wednesday's friend, because she had been through an escape room before. I don't even know if that helped her or not, but she seemed to know, like, how to get, like, the first key we had to get, you had to get water from one place and fill it to another place, and it made the key come up.
Floated up a pipe.
Never in a million years. I would have just sat there for an hour. Like, I never would have thought to do that. And then after that, that's when I started touching all the things. Mm-hmm. Because it's very much... Did you? Very much enjoyed us watching.
She started touching
all the things.
God.
And they what would you call that? It's not like tricks, but like there were a lot of, I touch this and this other thing pops open in that haunt. We didn't get anywhere near the end, I don't believe.
No, we did not. We didn't. But it
was really cool.
It was very inventive. It built on the story because Crawford School of Terror is a very story-based haunted attraction, and their escape room built on the lore of the haunted school. So you're in the basement of the school, you're going through the bathrooms in the school, and it's dark and gritty and dirty and creepy, and it was a very effective spooky experience.
It was very, very good, and it was a lot of fun, but like it was a lot of surprise. I feel like that was probably the most where, I would touch a thing and water would come spewing out of somewhere, and I'd be like, ah! Like it was there was a lot of that, but we were. I almost said we're trying to release somebody, but we weren't. That was somewhere else.
I don't think we were trying to release anything there. I wouldn't have wanted to release
anything at Crawford.
Too creepy.
Bad idea.
But it was very dark and very inventive, very atmospheric. Yeah. So if they reopen the escape room, you can expect that it's going to be super atmospheric.
Yes. And like they do all their building in the haunt, so they also do it in the escape room. And I know they enlisted help of somebody who was versed in those, like the tricks and the pop-ups and stuff. So I imagine whatever they do to change it, it's going to be amazing again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good. It was so much fun. But that's where I got my I need to touch all the things. Push all the buttons.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to pick this up and I'm going to put it down. Pick it up and I'm going to put it in. Something's going to happen the third
that's
time.
That's another thing. Yes. Mm-hmm. That's another thing you should know. When you go to an escape room, typically, once you do a thing and it gave you the code you needed and you went and you did that code and it opened a thing, you don't need it anymore.
You're done.
Don't
try to do it again.
I'm going to touch it 15 more times.
Don't put it back because you'll trick yourself into thinking
it
that
never
you should.
once have I had to use it again.
No.
And also, like, if you use your keys, keep them in one place so they're not all over and you're like, what is this key for? And then you're redoing things you already did. Like, keep everything in one spot if there's a desk or something. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, typically once you use a thing what it was meant to be used for, I've been told multiple times over the speakers, you already did that.
You used that key. You're not going to need the key.
Yes.
You pulled the drawer out of the desk.
15 times! You already used that.
You could change your mind.
Right.
So that's Escape Crawford. If they're back, that's what to expect from them.
Yeah.
How about Escape the Pen?
Escape the Pen. West Virginia Penitentiary. They are the folks of...
Dungeon of Horrors, I think.
Okay.
Dungeon
I almost said Terror and Doom. So, Dungeon of Horrors.
And amazing haunted history tours.
Yes.
Some of the creepiest.
So good.
Most
Their
unsettling.
tour guides are so good. They're funny and they're also kind to the ghosts. And so smart. We've been there a few times for different things and it's really good. The haunt is always really good. The escape room. I guess it's not open right now, but I think they still have it when it's not below 0.
Right.
I think when the weather gets warmer,
if
they'll
you're
open
looking
it
for
again.
something in the spring,
Yeah.
I think this will be open. And Escape the Pen also draws on the story. It's an old penitentiary with an extremely dark history. And the idea behind their escape room is you have an hour to find the evidence that will commute the sentence of someone who is on death row. So, low stakes, and we went, I think it was mid-afternoon. It was a beautiful summer day. It was gorgeous. We were like running around and terrified because, for one thing, you're in the penitentiary, which...
Yeah.
You
already feel that.
The weight of history around
Yes.
you, and you're trying to save someone's life. And
this is the lock place.
This is the lock place.
They had a whole class ahead of time. They showed you like 25 different kinds of locks. Because on top of like the letters and the numbers, like the scrolling ones and the keys, there's different kinds of keys. There's the big locks, the little locks, and then they have like digital ones where you had to hit the left, right, down, up. All those kind. There were so many I can't even remember them all. And so you have to remember how to use these locks on top of unlocking your clues.
It was a lot. And it was like, even on this gorgeous bright day, you felt.
Yes. It is super creepy. I will say, if you have somebody who doesn't really like... I would not suggest taking them there. They might run out the door and down the hall.
The conclusion.
It's the feeling and the conclusion.
If you
like,
fail,
it builds up.
If you fail the guy on death row, the ending is terrifying.
Yeah,
it's completely terrifying. Which we loved, but
not everybody.
Not everybody in our group loved that.
No.
But. Very scary, very intricate, requires a lot of attention and a lot of energy. Mm-hmm. So that is Escape the Pen.
Yes, West Virginia Penitentiary. The next one was Bold Escape Rooms. I just looked them up today and saw that they have closed in that location. I'm willing to bet they're going to open in another location. But we will see what happens. We didn't really realize that happened. It was kind of surprising because we just went not that long ago. Some friends came into town and we took them there, and it was a great time.
Yeah.
But we didn't.
And they had this wonderful cereal. This sounds so wrong. I'm about to say a sentence that is just should not come out of my mouth. This wonderful serial killer themed escape room.
Yes.
Where you're going into a serial killer's lair and you are trying to solve the killer's crimes, and it is gross and gritty and dark. And this is one of those places where like Crawford and like one of the other escape rooms we'll talk about in a second, there are physical things that you have to do that are
yes, and this is definitely, I mean, it's a serial killer, so like there are definitely horror themes.
Oh, yeah.
So if you don't like kind of gory things and stuff like that.
Or jump scares. Yeah. This is a place
they have
that has
other ones for you.
Jump scares.
We have only been to the Escape the Killer, but they had an 80s one and something else as well. We didn't do those ones because, of course, we did the horror one. But I don't know what they're going to come out with next, but... You know.
But really wonderful production values, lots of jump scares. Like if you can expect if you turn the lock, open the door,
there are sounds
there
and lights and
things, props, props that will spring out at you.
Yeah, be ready for anything.
And again, a little physically challenging. There was a point where you had to crawl through a narrow entrance where you have to stick your hand into
a couple places.
Without knowing.
Many holes.
Yeah. And there's also a bathroom. So just figure out where that's going to go.
Yeah.
You have to stick your hand in things.
Yes.
But
multiple times.
Was challenging, inventive, lots of different kinds of puzzles. Locks, verbal, maps, physical.
They had a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. And like I said, wonderful production value. So there's a bunch of stuff just coming at you.
Yes. And then, well, we're gonna go to this one first.
Yeah.
So another one that is not currently open, but also the Haunt took a break in 2024. This is also associated with the Haunt. It's Fearscape's Haunt in Elwood City, and they also have Escape Fearscapes, and it also went along with the theme of the Haunt. I don't know if they're going to reopen for 2025. They said the Haunt was last update I saw. I would think that the escape room would as well. That was the one that was a little bit different too.
Yeah,
I think that one didn't really have many locks.
It didn't have many locks.
It was more you had to figure out the story.
You had to figure out the story. You had to. I remember having to organize the industrial barrels.
Yes, the barrels
in a certain way.
Yes.
The idea behind both the haunted attraction and the escape room is that these scientific experiments have torn a hole in the space-time continuum and things are coming through. It's very Lovecrafty. It's very like creatures are coming through. You have to wear a hard hat and there's noises.
Yes.
There's noises all through the escape room. So it's another very horror-themed, intense feeling escape room. And honestly, like the haunted attraction is scary and interactive, but kind of playful. The escape room was dark and creepy.
Yeah,
it was scary because you hear noises around you, and you feel very confined, and it's this very industrial, scientific warehouse setting.
Right.
So if that is something that interests you, if they are up and running, they're absolutely worth seeking out.
So do you think we should mention the 5-minute ones kind of in different places we've gone to before we get to the one that has many?
Well, yes.
The many?
Yeah. One of the,
the coat of many colors. Theater
moms. What do you expect?
But yeah, we've been to a few haunted houses that had escape rooms that were maybe 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, a lot of haunted attractions have sort of gone this direction in order to give people something else to do. Maybe you're going to go to a haunted attraction and you don't want the experience to end, or you're going
to make a day of it.
Yeah, or you're going to a haunted attraction and you have a friend who's not quite sure if they want to do the really scary stuff, but they're okay
They'll
with
wait
the
for you.
escape room. So a number of places have opened smaller escape rooms, and that includes Fright Farm.
Yes, we did the one at Fright Farm,
which is, again, horror themed.
Yes.
Well done. And we had a guide who was very funny and very patient.
Yes.
But it had a very haunted mansion feel. West Alexander Scare Fair has I think a couple of escape rooms now. We did one of them and it was 5-ish minutes, but very good. Great props, great sound, great atmosphere. Like they went out of their way to create this kind of rustic haunted house environment. Yeah. Like there's taxidermy and these weird little objects. It was really cool.
That's cool. Then the West Virginia Fear Fest.
Was
it the Harry Potter themed one?
Yes.
I didn't really know what was happening.
Yes, there was a
I was like, oh. I almost got it, but not quite.
You did well. You did really well in that one. A number of places have smaller experiences, more contained experiences that either build on the haunt or offer a kind of
like a
lower intensity alternative to the haunt.
Yeah, or somewhere in there, they'll have things to do outside of the haunt, like games to play and stuff like that, and a lot of them will add a short escape room. My only suggestion would be, if you wear reading glasses and you're planning on doing an escape room, wear
your glasses.
Because we're good about the regular ones, but when we go to a haunt, we often don't bring our reading glasses because
we do not want them crushed by a chainsaw-wielding maniac as we are running.
Reasons. I lost a pair in the penitentiary. I'm so sorry. I forgot. I brought them with me. And in your buried alive thing, there goes my reading glasses. So I usually don't bring them to haunts for reasons like that.
However, if you're doing an escape room,
that's why.
If you wear glasses,
because some of them we almost did, but we couldn't see. We were like, we can't get this thing. We can't even see to get keys in the right place because without our reading glasses, right? So I would suggest if you're going to a haunt and you might do something outside of there, bring your reading glasses and just put them in an inside pocket when you go inside.
Strategize. We can even do a whole video on strategizing what to wear for haunted attractions.
Oh my god, we should do that
because we should. Because we've changed our approach vastly over the years.
Yes,
we have it down
very much.
All right, so one more place that runs things differently, than pretty much anyone else, and that is
Unlock the Adventure
in Titusville.
Yes,
which is an hour and a half or so north of Pittsburgh. Yep. It's between Pittsburgh and Erie. So if you are in either of those directions, it's a short little drive. But Unlock the Adventure is a very different experience.
I was gonna say it's different than the others. It's very similar in a lot of ways. They're probably gonna have some locks. There are puzzles to complete, but they are very, very story driven. It's very immersive. You definitely feel like you are in this experience. Everything around you is a part of that. There's nothing out of place in the story, in the experience. It is all a part of it.
Yeah, the goal is to completely immerse you in a story. It's to take you out of your everyday life and put you in this particular set of circumstances. And because of that, they are really flexible with giving clues. They'll give
Yes.
you all the clues.
And I think that's their jam too. Like they want you to have fun, which I'm not saying the other places aren't fun. It's just slightly different to where they notice rather than you begging for help. They notice, they've been there for a little while. They haven't moved for a little bit.
Look
right
behind you.
Right. I remember one time I was finding these items. I can't give it away because they're all literally still going on. And they're so good. But I was finding items all over this room, and I was like, okay, I found another one, and I would put them in the same spot, but I didn't know what to do with them, but I knew at some point I would need them, and I put them where I thought I would put them, but then when it was time to use it, I knew I needed to use it, but I didn't know why it wasn't working, and they came over the speaker and said, how would you arrange that thing if it was in your house? And I was like, oh, and it's almost like there's a third or another person there with you who's really smart and just kind of gives you the right little clues every now and then. So,
yeah, Unlock the Adventure is in 2 different storefronts now in Titusville, and we have not visited their original escape room, which is the Magician's Secret.
Yeah.
We've not done that.
Don't know that one.
We've done every other escape room they have.
We have to go back.
Escape the Manor is sort of like Disney's Haunted Mansion, but a darker story. You have to free the spirit of this murdered bride. I think that's the story.
So
but
spooky.
There are, beautiful special effects, beautiful lighting. It is very gothic, very creepy, very old school haunted house movie. And great tricks, great props, interesting puzzles, and it all looks beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't want to leave.
We could live there, and if
Just
it
give
were
us this room,
and if they hadn't been nice to us and helped us solve the puzzle, we would still be living there.
Yeah, that's true.
They also have an escape room that is less overtly horror themed. It's called Survive the Storm.
Oh my gosh, that was so good.
Which is one of the most intense escape room experiences I think I've ever had. Because the notion is that you are at a Pennsylvania state park on this beautiful summer day and everything's lovely and you're planning your activities. And a tornado warning comes across the radio. And you have to get everything together and contact rescuers before...
It's just so, how the atmosphere changes from the time you get there, and you're just like, oh, la-di-da-di-da, this is so fun. And, the storm's coming, and there's a radio with warnings, and it just gets, more and more intense.
And
as you're doing all the puzzles. You're not just sitting there admiring that thing happening. You're figuring out the puzzles, trying to, get your way out.
And it builds. The pacing is very interesting because initially it is very relaxed and you feel like you have all the time in the world.
Yes.
And then suddenly you hear the wind start to pick up outside the cabin.
Touching more things faster.
The two of us running across the cabin.
I'm throwing things at her. She's over there. I'm like, catch this!
What? Where am I supposed to put it?
Try somewhere.
But it goes from the tonal shift is amazing because it goes from this very fun, happy, relaxed place to dark and scary and panicky.
Brothers in a corner.
And for anyone who grew up like I did, going to state parks and staying in some of the cabins, it feels very familiar. They have gone out of their way to make sure that this place looks and feels like a cabin in a state park. They, to the extent that the freaking crickets outside, the noise, the ambient noise of the crickets, sounds like what you would hear at a Pennsylvania state park in June. And it's like living through a disaster movie. It is well thought out and intense and fun, and you will be breathless by the end of it.
Yes.
Laying in the middle of the cabin floor, like waiting for the tornado to come take you. You're just done. In the past year, they opened up this sort of fun choose your own adventure.
Yes.
Experience, and I think that it is Dare to Dream is the overarching name of the experience, and I feel like it was made for Gen X kids like us. Like Dare to Dream,
Grandma's living room.
Dare to Dream starts in a kid's bedroom that looks sort of 1980s themed.
Yeah.
And depending on which door you choose, which experience you choose, you are either going to have this lovely moments in time memory where you go back to Grandma's house as a kid, and it's cozy and it's welcoming and it looks so much like my grandparents' living room. It was ridiculous.
Right?
I mean, I was picking things up going,
I know. Look at the needlepoint on the wall.
Look at these plates.
Yeah. We were on the floor.
We were
We put one of the puzzles on the floor. We're like, okay, let's figure this out. Like it's afternoon in our childhood.
Just hanging out. If you choose the other door, it's Face Your Nightmares. And that takes you into Grandma's attic. And things in Grandma's attic are a wee bit darker.
Yeah.
And it does this really wonderful job of creating a child's perspective.
Yes.
Like you're standing on the floor and you're looking
bigger.
way up at the objects in Grandma's attic, and they are so far above you and they look huge. And this is another escape room that it does something incredibly nasty. Like you have to do something physical to solve a puzzle that is just, it's so mean. It's so clever, but it's so mean. And it tests your courage. What are you willing to do to solve this puzzle? Not that you're ever in danger.
No.
But you'll feel like it. So this is, it's an escape room, but it's sort of an immersive experience as well.
Right. Yeah. That's how they all are. Like all of their escape rooms are very much like that. You're like plopped into this experience. And it's just so cool like that. You're still solving puzzles, and they're not easy. Like they're still difficult even with clues. Like they're so good at giving clues that kind of give you some direction
logic,
without
color, sequences, sounds.
Yeah.
You have to pay attention to everything around you.
Yeah.
But
it's unlimited clues there. Like they will continue to give you clues. So if you have a hard time, you can maybe go to one of these places, and they will continue to help you the whole time.
But
if you need it.
And if you're like us, all of these escape rooms, every single thing we've mentioned is going to have endless replay value because I can't remember a freaking thing.
Right, let's go back. I won't remember. I don't know what I did to make that thing happen.
Yeah.
Because I was like so, I don't know.
I was in the moment.
Scared, yeah.
It's the value of these experiences. You are so in the moment. And maybe some of you will remember. We won't.
Yeah.
We won't.
But it's a fun thing to do with people, with anyone, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, anyone, I think of any age. I don't know if there's I don't know how much younger kids would enjoy it.
I mean, I think you could probably do something like the Dare to Dream Moments in Time, Grandma's Living Room. I don't know if younger kids would enjoy some of the 1980s references that we love.
Yeah.
But they would. I think they would enjoy the puzzles.
It depends on the kid
environment.
too. Yeah.
But you can do this with your family, with friends. I know a lot of places love stuff like this as a team building exercise.
Right, because there are places, I don't know that any of the places we've gone to do it, but I think there are places that do, like, they time each group. It's like a challenge between like work people, but so you could take work friends, you could take like any groups, anybody who's coming into town who wants to like do something different.
Take us with you. We'll drag you down. Put us on your enemy's team.
But you will have fun. They will have a good time while losing.
They will.
While they lose.
We do have high entertainment value, I will say. But escape rooms are a wonderful alternative, and they'll get your brain working. They will have you interacting with your friends, your family, the environment.
Yeah. It's a fun date night. I mean, most of these we did just us. It was a great date.
Yeah.
It was good. So, like, you know, if you go out to Titusville, they have good restaurants and bars.
Yeah, they have wonderful restaurants in that area.
Yeah, and they could go to the escape room and be a fun night out. Yeah. Something different.
So
speaking of,
a little different. So, do you want to?
So, speaking of having a fun night out, Unlock the Adventure escape rooms have offered us some free tickets to give to you. So we're going to have a little giveaway, and they gave us 4 groups of 2 tickets. So we will have 4 winners, each of them winning 2 tickets. And all you have to do is like our page on Facebook, Haunted Housewives with Tish and Lily. Unlock the Escape Rooms page on Facebook.
Unlock the Adventure.
What did I say? Unlock the escape room.
Unlock the adventure.
I'm still unlocking things in the room. Yeah.
So,
yeah, she's the word. Good thing she's here. Unlock the Adventure escape room, like their page, and then comment on this post on our Facebook page and tag your friend who would either help you or hinder you in an escape room. And then we will pick the winner maybe March 7th.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Before. Yeah, about 2 weeks. Yeah. Give me about 2 weeks. We'll try to post this everywhere so we can get this out so everyone can get some free tickets. It's super, super fun. It's a great night out. And I mean, hey, who doesn't want free tickets?
And we will not come along and ruin the experience for you. But it's fun. It's immersive. It's atmospheric. Like our page, like their page, comment. Tell us who you would take with you, either to help or
who would be a bad influence, roadblock. Who would touch all the things,
or who would stand there in the middle of the room just thinking, I can reason my way out of this without doing a damn thing.
I'm going to give you this binder of words. You figure this out, and I'm going to touch all the things.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she is. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. We will be back soon with more haunt-related content. Yeah. Possibly fashion advice on how to dress.
How to dress for a haunt.
We'll be back in a week or two with more content, and good luck to everybody who wants to try to win this. We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Bye.